All right, we are back. Welcome to the Building Your Life podcast. My name is Doug Sandler, along with the host of the show, John Browning. John, welcome back.
Yeah, glad to be here. Glad to have you on the podcast again, and appreciate you.
Yeah, and I very much appreciate you. And if you are in our listening community, that means that you have not objected to me being on the show too much and too vehemently. So I am back. You know, we do. I was in a. I don't know if you know this about me, but I was represented by an agency for about 30 years. John, I was a bar mitzvah MC. I did about 2,100 bar mitzvahs in my career.
Oh my goodness!
I do take requests, and I did take requests at the last break that we took, but unfortunately, your request did not work because I am back again. so I am here. You know, you mentioned as we were in between recording sessions, you mentioned something, and we talked about a little bit about mutual funds on our last, whether you should or whether you shouldn't have those as a part of your investment plan. And if you don't know if you should or you shouldn't, go back and listen to the last episode. But I want to talk about this thing that you mentioned in between the break, and it was, what was it? ETF? Is that what it is?
ETFs, yeah.
Okay, don't know that term, so maybe talk to those in our community so that they know what some of the buzz speak is. If those out there right now are hearing all about ETFs, I have no idea what that is.
So ETFs are exchange-traded funds. So exchange-traded funds, and it kind of, the name makes sense because these are funds very similar, although not the same as, say, a mutual fund, that are traded on the exchange. In other words, you can buy and sell them at any point during the trading day, and they are priced in real time. So they're very efficient, and they tend to be lower cost than your traditional mutual fund. Although, again, I clarify, not always, but they tend to be that way. And if they are more expensive, what you have to look at and analyze is, are they worth the extra expense? And many times, I believe you'll find they are.
All right. So I remember when I started investing probably in the late 1980s, early 1990s, they used to have these different classes on mutual funds. They had a class A, a class B, a class C, and it was... The class represented, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, didn't the class represent when you paid the fee, whether you paid the fee up front, during, or after the trade or the transaction, or you buy or sell? So is this at all a part of what ETFs are, or not related at all?
Well, it's not necessarily related, but it's another reason that ETFs are the innovation to mutual funds.
Ooh, there's that word, innovation. And remember, if you want to go back and listen to the innovation podcast episode, listen to last episode. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, because mutual funds are just, frankly, they're outdated. They're still around because 401ks need to use them for regulatory purposes and ease of use, but exchange-traded funds eliminated a lot of the confusion about all of those different types of fees and when you pay the fee and when it made sense. And it all really came down to how your investment advisor got paid. And that was back in the day before the innovation, or much of the innovation happened, where we get paid based on your assets under management.
Right.
Which it became just very confusing with all the different classes, and a lot of lawsuits and a lot of just bad things happened during that era when you had those different classes of shares, and they still exist in some cases.
All right, so let's talk a little. Let's put mutual funds on the shelf. We know that if you have a mutual fund in your portfolio right now, you may want to call John because he might have some suggestions for you. So we'll give you his contact information and all that, so you can get a hold of he and his company. But let's talk about ETFs. What are some of the advantages of using ETFs? And then I want to get to the subjects that we actually promised our community that we would talk about, which is how maybe things like technology really do improve not only the customer experience, but can also improve the investment experience as well. So maybe just give a shout out about ETFs and maybe help define them even closer. What's the benefit?
So the benefit of an exchange traded fund is, first and foremost, aside from the fact they tend to be cheaper and run just a little bit better, is they're much more efficient in that with some of the older products, mutual funds, the like, you would decide you wanted to sell it or buy it, whichever. Say, we'll go buy. Say you decided this is what I want to buy today. You would have to wait in the entire day in order to purchase that. So the stock price or stock prices could go up, they could go down, but you really felt like at 9 a.m. in the morning, based on what was going on and your analysis, that was the time to buy. Didn't matter. You had to buy it at the end of the day. With an exchange traded fund, when you decide to buy, that's when your order goes in and is executed in real time at the price of all the underlying securities at that time. So much more efficient for investors.
All right, so let me ask this question though. As an investor, I'm a set it and forget it kind of guy, and you're somebody that probably keeps your eye on the market for maybe a lot of your day, and you're building relationships with your clients, so you're not necessarily staring at a computer screen and looking at a graph all day and candlesticks and all this stuff and how things work. How involved should somebody be getting in the advising the advisor? Like, if I see an opportunity, I may call you and say, hey, have you thought of this opportunity, where timeliness is essential? But how real world is that in the world that you are working within, and customers like me that might not be staring at a computer screen looking all the time at what the market's doing?
That is a great question. And what I find is that you are very good at creating, producing podcasts, right? You're very good.
Yeah, I'll give myself that attaboy. Sure.
Because that's what you do, right? And if you're a plumber, you're a great plumber. You do that. You've done it for 30 years. And why are you good at it? Because you did it for 30 years and you have that experience, right? So what I do, it's always great. I have a surgeon that is a client of mine. I have somebody who's involved in the industrial space who's a client of mine. I have a computer programmer and somebody in banking. So if those people call me and say, hey, I noticed, I was doing surgery the other day where we keep using this particular company for this and it works great. Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a look at that company because they're closer to it than me, and I appreciate those phone calls. If somebody's looking at CNBC, NBC, whatever, Fox News or whatever, and they're like, oh, whoever it is, and by the way, I used to be on those shows, so I get it. Those guys are all nice guys, but they get paid to sell advertising. And that is what they do. Not that what they say is inaccurate or anything else, but it may not be right for you. They're not giving investment advice, and they'll be the first ones to tell you that. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to call your investment advisor and say, hey, I saw this on CNBC, I saw this on Fox, I saw this on Yahoo Finance, first of all, that's going to drive your financial advisor nuts. And frankly, I tend to fire clients that do that. It's just too much. I'm watching the market. It's what I do. You would be surprised, though. People are surprised. They'll call me towards the end of the day and say, what did the market do today? I said, I don't know.
I love that about you. I love that because you're a relationship nerd. You're not a follow the portfolio nerd. Now, that's a double-edged sword though, right? Because you could have somebody that really wants you to follow that, but that's not what your thing is.
Well, here's the deal. I'm a follow the portfolio nerd. Like, I'm a super nerd, right? But not every day. I mean, just because President Biden or Trump or whoever the president is at a certain time said a certain thing in a certain way at 2:00 in the afternoon does not mean I'm changing your investment strategy. Right. If the market is going to the moon, it's just screaming higher for whatever reason, it doesn't mean that we're going to take any action on your very long-term portfolio that's accomplishing a very specific goal, i.e. your best life, your best life now, but also a big part of that is building your best life in the future. You don't keep trading that every single day, and you don't react to every single time the market goes up or down. you're aware of it, you look at the long-term trends. So in a given day, I'll look at things in the morning, I'll look at things in the evening. During the day, I might hear something, but I'm probably not taking any specific action on any given day just because something happened in the market.
So we managed to do it again, John. We came to the podcast episode with an agenda. We completely missed it. We ended up.
That is what we tend to do. Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. And if you're listening to this and you thought we were actually going to talk about technology, we are, but just not today. We are going to get to that in our next episode. I promise we are going to talk about it because I really want to know things like, and we'll tease this for the next episode, I really want to know things like, how has technology improved your customer experience? Because there's got to be things that you do within your firm to make life easier for your clients, and technology is the tool, whether it's something as simple as being able to text, that's the simplest thing to do, or maybe is there investment advice that you can give to clients through technology? Is there something a screen that they could follow? Can we tease that for the upcoming episode? Because I think things like 5G technology and graphene and nanotech and artificial intelligence are all things that affect us every day. I just don't know how it affects the investment world.
Well, and more importantly than that, how should you position yourself to profit based on what's going on now with those innovations?
Okay.
So that's what gets my juices flowing, and it can be done incorrectly too, though. So there's some real pitfalls out there that it's really easy to fall into. So all
right. So avoid the pitfalls. You want to get in touch with John, and John will tell you right now how to get in touch with him at his office, and then we will move on to next week's episode, and that will be all about the different opportunities that you have when it comes to tech and innovation, the next step in technology. And let's see what he's got going on. How do people get to you, John?
So the best way is just to go out to Guardian Rock Wealth with a TH, Wealth, guardianrockwealth.com. And there's a contact us section there. Just send us a quick note. Or the very best way is to get out your phone, text 321-421-5213. It's kind of easy to remember there. And text the word life. You'll get a link with all of our information, all of our different links, lots of free information there for you, and even a way to schedule some time on my calendar.
All right, check the link in the show notes. If you don't have any of that information, or you're driving and you are feverishly trying to write it down with your knee on the steering wheel, it's not the way to drive. Let's not drive that way. Check the link in the show notes. It'll be right there. Good to see you, John. See you again next week.
All right, we'll see you next week.